This is an early Sunday morning dilemma. I'm sure some of you have found yourself in this situation. So Saturday night I decided to knock back 6 beers, but quickly decide that Caesars are the way to go. So I drop another 6 of those cute little red things before thinking a couple absinthe shots might punch the ticket. Swallow a bucket of red wine I steal from a loaded blonde dance pole, inhale a couple of high-test vodka jumps, and finally decide to settle in a rum for the night, because that's always a safe bet if it's not 151. But it was. And 9 hours later, I'm on top of a speaker in the Purple Onion dancing with a woman named Salmon. 16 hours later, I'm waking up on somebody's floor, looking up at the bedspread, wondering if there's anybody in there that I know. The television's on, but there's only static. And you can hear children crying somewhere, and I can see a wig hanging from a mannequin's head, which is weird. But I decide to move, but I realize that I'm naked, and my body is stuck to the hardwood. A lemon wedge is glued to my chest over my heart. Obviously, someone spilled a gin and tonic on me when I passed out and it's dried. Maybe it was me. Probably. Either way, my scrotum's crushed to the floor. However, there's no vomit, so that's good, but there's no pants and no wallet, so that's bad. And though it seems like the house is empty, that's good, but I'm not sure whose house it is, so that's bad. Then the question immediate for anyone who finds himself in this situation: do you steal clothes and money from the house and leave, or do you wait for the owner to come home? And binary flips on this, because if the house is owned by somebody you know, then stealing their clothes and money is bad, right? Some people I know have even been put off by this behavior. They may seize upon the incident to deliver a lecture on the evils of drinking, or worse, on the evils of glorifying drinking in poetry. Virgins. But if the house is owned by somebody you don't know, they might shoot you, you naked holy avenger. At least they don't want to see your scrotum plastered in the Turkish rug. Or find you in the kitchen poaching eggs, clad in nothing but the Lord's Prayer. So you might as well snatch a pair of old Levi's and paint shirt, scramble the cab fare, take it, stumble the fuck out to the curb, look at the street address, and hope that you're still in the same fucking city that you started in. Because that'd be good, if unlikely. 2 ways. Flip of a fucking coin at this point. This one's called Blue Stigmata, and it's something I wrote. I don't know if you guys, a lot of you writers here, and I had one of these filled up, and it's at the start of a new relationship. It's half full of love poems, and it was half full of a crazy trip to New York. Anyways, it was like 8 months worth of work, and I lost it, and it was a fucking killer, and I never did find it. So this is my poem about that. It's called Blue Stigmata. The first snowstorm of winter comes in March. The forests will burn this summer. Under the deep drift somewhere lies my notebook, her face blank, her fine aster white pages rigid with ice crystals, her words and lines still crisp for now, like anything buried in February. Though soon the moisture will slither in, the blood will soften and sag heavy through the leather cover, rotting out and flowing into the mud. And later in June, when this is supposed to be past me, I know I'll look at the black veins of flowers with suspicion. Stand 4-footed in the dirt, inspecting xylem and blue stigma for ink, a pistol in my hand, sniffing the style for letters and lost poems, and frightening spring hikers with a righteous rig-back glare, nostrils flaring between the petals. So I'm on my knees and hands, I snarl. Fuck you, I'm whispering to my daughter. I always found Christianity was a shit for beating off. This is for Jordan Fry. Can't masturbate without thinking your grandma's watching you. And I wish she was. I mean, it'd mean I got somewhere to go when it's done. But I don't. So, while it's somewhat forlorn, at least I pulled the mule in peace. Truly, I don't know how you fuckers manage it, tugging it in front of Baba. That night in August, she says she's afraid of dying. It's going to give her a panic attack. So we get high and we talk like children, tickling. She won't stop kicking at me until I threaten to spray her with lemonade. I wear a styrofoam cup on my chin, king-like. Alright, that's still 35. The whole truck ride, 9 hours. Supposed bet's going on about his war and his syndrome and his pension and his annoying fucking guilt. This rear echelon motherfucker. Sickening to me with his rhetoric. And finally I say, you want a fucking war story? This time about 5 years ago, I was working in Cambodia and I got pulled over at a border by a fat, greasy-looking police inspector who obviously wanted a bribe, but I wasn't doing anything wrong. So he shows me a grenade and says I can throw it for 10 bucks. And me, who used to toss Molotov cocktails off overpasses, I can't refuse. So he drives me out to this field. I'm a little afraid he's just going to shoot me in the back and take the money, but he's honest, so he hands me a grenade. The grenade clips the price tag off with a pair of field scissors, shows me how to pull the pin. And I pull that fucker and I throw it as hard as I can, and we watch it blow the hell out of the wall of an old barn. And it's a sartorial moment. But the smoke clears and we see one forlorn-looking deserted cow inside who wanders out to inspect the damage. Carpe diem. The inspector smiles, greasy, sly, greasy, and he digs out another grenade. 30 bucks, he says. American. Nods to the cow. Now, there's no one else around but me and him and the cow, and fucked as it is, rationalized, hey, went in Cambodia, but really I was thinking, when am I ever going to have a chance to kill something this big like this with a fucking grenade? Ever. And when am I going to have a chance to kill without consequence? And it's a telling question for all of us, but I answered quickly and I give him 30 bucks, American. Pull the pin, which makes a funny click, and the cow looks as I throw it. It doesn't move because it only lands close by, it doesn't hit it precisely. And he's an inquisitive cow, so he sniffs it. Okay? And we watch in curious horror as the cow licks it at the precise moment that it explodes and vaporizes the front half of the cow in a haze of bright red, leaving two legs and a shriveled udder to topple gracelessly to the ground. So we look around briefly for the tongue, but we can't find it. The inspector drives me back to the checkpoint, and we only talk in glances. And later that day, I'm walking into Vietnam alone, my eyes hurting from the flash, head in the haze, blood still throbbing as the exhilaration of seeing death at my hand, ears ringing from the sound of bovine murder, which sounds funny, but really, I'm thinking seriously, thank Christ it wasn't an abandoned child. Because I don't like to think of my answer, warriors, to that question. Sweep him in the killing fields. Now that, my unknown soldier, is a fucking war story. Alright, just a few more here, I think. Alright. 36. Saw Shannon Hoon sitting in an all-night diner tonight, so I walked in, sat beside him, watched him humming and reading from the book of Southern Hymns, and I was curious as hell, and I asked, hey, what's it like? He replied in that soft Southern hippie voice. It's harmless. Nothing to reply to that, nothing needed. So we sat and drank coffee, and I listened to him sing his hymns in his gentle way. 37. The old man with the wide gin eyes and the beer notices me writing my book and says in one moment a hard thought before flowing on. You just do as much as you can and the sparks will come off in your wake and some will glimmer and fade and others will burn so long that no one will be able to ignore them. 47. 46. Well, I don't know how I ever really get to this point where I'm standing on the front lawn somewhere in southern suburbia with a Molotov cocktail in one hand and a pitchfork in the other. Covered in pig blood, rearing back that right hand and hurling that lightning bolt through the plate glass front window so it shattered. And it lighted the living room on fire. And I'm leaping through the gasoline, hoping the pig's blood will keep my skin from burning, and I'm mostly naked except for the jackboots. And screaming, here comes the fucking devil. Here comes the fucking devil, here to kill you all. The devil's in me and I am the devil, the all original, the unmatchable Grand March fuck devil, the real fans of this mask. Over blood and fire, voodoo style vengeance. And we do it like this, me and Baron Sandy, because when you hate a fucker this bad, you gotta do the fear right. So if we don't kill him tonight, his own heart, it'll do it for us.
My younger brother is a bad
47. So lonely that I hope someone breaks in here, do what they want, maybe talk a bit after. Hold me, touch my hands, touch my face when it's done. For I'm old and thinking, will no one help me with this suffering? The same soft cry bound by night, framed by rain and a desperation. So many tired, so many years. How long have I been here? 55. Naked and drunk. Face down on somebody's lawn. The high beams rolling past, squares slowing down and pointing, but I should be embarrassed, degraded, derided de facto, but really, I'm young and I'm naked and I'm drunk and running fast and close to the ground and invincible. And my cock is half stiff, jangling back and forth like some burnt log out of the mill chute. And I'm saying, the hell with all that. I'm made out of goddamn iron. And for tonight and for years to come, death won't touch me because I'm immortal. So put that on your cross and smoke it. Alright, just two more. That one's too dirty. 62. Well, for the life of me, I cannot find a gun or a shiv anywhere. On a night like this, with everything on the other side and me with a real fucking death wish to get there, to get away from you. I've been staring off bridges, taunting oncoming trucks, but no walking the streets fast under the green haze, looking for a huge Iranian whore who goes by the name Tourette. I wanted her to crush me, to lie on me like a dead animal and force the air from my lungs. And she'd do it too, because she's into shit like that. She would respect a man's wish to die beneath her. But she's gone from the street, cooking in the house of D, or busy with a trick, or gone back to the desert to die, so I've had to settle for some large London bitch who don't understand what I'm saying. And of course, by now I'm so trigger-fucked by the absent, there's no way to tell her that what I want is to die. So there's nothing to do but sit here mutely, with my cock in her mouth, wishing she'd lay me down, cover my face with her enormous breasts, and let me gently suffocate in darkness. Alright, last one.
I was just thinking racist.
You want a couple of dirty ones, don't you? Here's two then. 11. What's the best way to wake up on a morning like this? Semen on the hands or semen on the face? 13. Trying to suppress a little grin for showing my supposed guilt for fucking an epileptic and coming during procedure. Oh, that is terrible. Jordan, I can't believe you wrote that.
I knew it epileptic.
Okay, 63. Don't give me that shit, bullfucker. I have a very clean, a very clear picture of what the world is and what we are in it. Your God never existed in the first place. And we're just dirty animals, a bunch of goddamn shaved apes wearing ties, and fuck each other and kill each other. When it comes down to it, we'll fucking eat each other. How many times have I yelled that's violently drunk in one of the thousands of urine spots I soiled myself in across this country, waking up with blackened eyes, bleeding assholes, strangers in the bed, and still wonders at the fact that everyone is deaf to the word that I speak. Why can't any of you fucks, you castigating, plague-ridden fucks, why can't you hear me? That's what I cry in the stone-rolling hours in the morning when the bottle has stopped listening. No, it's only halfway through. Thank you for your premature. Stone-rolling hours in the morning. The bluster meant to conceal nervousness that the bed is empty, that I probably can't stand this purgatory much longer, and that I'm continuously thinking, fuck it all. Fuck this exile. I'm cracking open this tomb and I'm heading north tomorrow. Heading home where it's cold.